KTVB Boise, Idaho's news channel. This is Idaho's most complete...
Weekends with Janet Myers, who reports on weekends over there at King, and also Dave Curley is the anchor on the weekends.
And why aren't they here?
Well, they had to work this weekend. They're probably saving up their money too, because they're having a baby, so they need to kind of pad the budget there.
King wouldn't let them off with pay and everything.
Well, I can't answer for that.
Okay, well, good enough. Thanks, Catherine, for being with us this evening. Of course, you wouldn't miss this weekend. Are you going to float tomorrow?
Oh, I'm definitely going to float. It's really nice to be back in Boise. I do miss it.
Okay, let's see if everyone can recognize the next person here. Can you see this one over here? Kelly Love. Hi. Where are you hiding out these days?
I have moved out of the state down to Salt Lake City, Utah. I've been working at the sister station at KUTV, which is NBC down there.
Okay, so we've heard of that.
Well, from time to time, yeah.
Isn't that kind of a lateral move?
I won't touch that one at all, no. I'm having fun down there. I still see some of the friends from Idaho that I'd made up here in Boise, and we get up here about 3 times a year, and always have a great time because we miss the folks up here.
Okay, well, Julie Curris is the next one down the line. Can you get up here? Can we see Julie Curris? Now, you were there, about 2 years ago on Channel 7, weren't you?
Well, I've been off about 3 months.
I think you've got the job that everybody envies. What are you doing these days?
This is when the story kind of goes downhill a bit. I'm taking the summer off in Seattle. I'm living in Seattle, but I'm just kind of playing out in the sun, in the water, and kind of doing what everyone else would love to do.
I want to know more about that. I mean, how do you do that? I know how you play out in the sun, but how do you get the time off?
You actually ought to ask her what the temperature was in Seattle and then wonder if that's a place to spend your summer or not today.
Last few weeks it's been in the 90s. Yesterday it was in the 80s. Today it got quite a bit cooler, down into the 60s, but still.
I appreciate the weather report. That's fantastic. Okay, we have a number of people here. Mark Johnson's going to be coming up with some more, I believe, a little later on in the episode here as far as is this the first annual reunion?
This is the first reunion, and then if it is successful, which everyone thinks it will be an annual event. We'll let you know then.
One last question. I think everyone saw this. Whose pesky dog is that keeps on running in here?
That is my stepson's dog, who is probably watching tonight. That's Sugar.
Okay.
And not a pest.
Okay. Get out of here. Sugar? Okay, give me the off. We'll get rid of Sugar here in just a minute. No. Let's take a look at the temperature right now, and the wind is coming up out here just behind the Carolyn Holly house, which is just off from I-84, by the way. We won't give you the full address there, but this is going to be continuing throughout the weekend. But the current temperature, I think we're still into the lower 80s. 81 degrees happens to be the current. There it is. 82 degrees, I'm sorry. The winds are northwest at 8 miles an hour. No precipitation in the past 24 hours. 29.75 is the barometric pressure, and the humidity is 24%. Sunrise 6:39 tomorrow morning, and the sunset is 9:03. Now, your average temperature is 90, and the record high for the date is 103 back in 1904. Now, across the nation, we were talking about the Northwest. It seems like everybody goes to the Northwest from here. Yeah, well, they come to Boise, and then they go to Seattle. They go to Portland. Do we have anybody that took off to the east? Jake Putnam, somewhere east. Well, let's take a look at our national map right now, and you'll see that we have thunderstorms that are throughout the upper Midwest and also throughout the southwest section of the country into Texas. I guess the hardest hit was the southern portions of Indiana and Ohio, where they had thunderstorms, golf ball size hail, and winds that gusted to 80 and 90 miles an hour. And you see why. The temperatures were up also. 90 degrees for Cleveland today, 88 degrees in Chicago. If you head south, 86 degrees in Atlanta. So that gives us the temperatures for around the nation. Now let's just talk about some of the temperatures for the valley today. Did you enjoy it? We had a few breezes this afternoon. We had the sunshine with us as well. And most of the temperatures were well up there. 98 degrees was the high today. Caldwell at 99, 94 degrees in Fayette. And you see most of the lows are generally into the 50s. Is that Dee Sarton in the background? Dee, can you wave one more time so that everyone can see you back there? Okay, so those are some of the temperatures around the area. And then, as satellite picture shows what's taking place right now. First of all, this is 1 o'clock, then we'll show you 4 o'clock, and then finally 9 o'clock, and you see how all of the clouds are bunching up on us, and anybody who is watching us outside knows that the wind is picking up. Over Idaho, look at our forecast. It's generally partly cloudy skies for tonight and a slight chance of some thunder showers throughout the area, and we're receiving one right now with some gusty winds. For tomorrow, partly cloudy for the River Day, for the reunion, and a slight chance of afternoon thunder showers, mainly dry and windy. Now look at the temperature for tomorrow. 88 degrees for Boise, so it's going to cool down about 10 degrees, and the wind is a good indication of that. And then in the extended weather forecast, mostly sunny on Sunday, right? And the temperature will be up somewhere into the upper 80s once again. So that's it. We're not leaving by any means. Mark Johnson is coming up next. We'll see you back at the studio.
All right, we'll be looking forward to that. Wouldn't you know it, tomorrow we're all going to float the river, and we're going to have a few clouds. I went through that last Sunday. I even got rained on, and then, of course, it's going to clear up again by Sunday.
Yeah, let's hope it does, because I've wondered all night long if it's going to rain or not.
Well, of course, Mark had to get to the party early, too.
Yep. Hi, you guys. I'm unable to hear you until I put my earpiece in my ear. Rick's trying to unstrap it right now. It's a party. Why not? But coming up next, thank you very much, Rick. I'll take it from you when we get to the commercial, please. The KTVB 35th anniversary party, and I have with me the very first photographer that I went with on a story 35 years ago when I first started working with KTVB, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's get to the sports news first of all. It was Jersey night at Weigel Field tonight, and that young man will attest to that fact. Spokane led 2-0 after the opening frame, but here's the defensive gem of the night. Mike Shambaugh sparkling with the over-the-shoulder grab, and the score remained 2-0 Spokane. Here in the 6th inning, watch this play. Mark Crumback will try to grab this baseball at the wall. He doesn't get it, and then watch, he misses picking the ball up, and here comes the runner. Heading down for the play. Here comes the throw. It is in time. However, in the ninth right now, Spokane leads it 3-1. Exhibition season continued tonight in Washington. Let's take you to the videotape. Pocatello's own Merrill Hoge, playing for the Steelers tonight, came to town. He is currently the team's number 3 running back. He is on the bubbles. Our sources are telling us that the Steelers are saying this former Idaho State man has a great shot at making the team this year. Hit of the night, Idaho's Eric Yarber going for the post. Watch the pass. Yarber comes down with the ball, and his helmet leaves his body. And it would be Pittsburgh winning the game 44-31 to open up the exhibition season. All right, 35 years ago now, I became a member of the organization we like to refer to as Idaho's news gathering agency, Idaho's news channel. Did I say 35?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
I'm sorry, I meant 5 years. And this is the photographer. Let's get him in the light. This is Brian Robertson, the man that went with me on my very first story here. And Brian, as we take a look at videotape from that very first story 5 years ago, what do you remember most about it?
Well, I remember when we were walking in here, you were trying to convince me that that you played this all the time back in Cape Girardeau. Hockey, that was, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I had a hard time believing it. We had to use the stuntmen in a few of these scenes so that we kind of fill in the gaps and cover up for your mistakes. I do remember that.
What happened during this story?
I think you ended up in the hospital for a few weeks, from what I understood. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were. I think when you talked about playing hockey back in Cape Girardeau.